So let's talk about making an herb container garden. It's a pretty simple thing. Herbs are fairly tough plants, so they're going to be tolerant of lots of abuse on watering and light levels and things. So this is a great place to start in the garden. All you really need is a basic pot. This is a little TerraPlast bowl, pretty inexpensive, and it'll last a long time, and it can take freezes if you go through winter. You want to make sure there's a hole in the bottom. If you don't, you'll drown your herbs. And when you're buying the pot, also buy a saucer, because in the summertime you'll need a saucer to put underneath to keep enough water in there. Alright, well, when making an herb container garden, it's pretty simple. All you really need are some of the trailing herbs to go over the edge of the pot. Here I have a couple of different thymes, a variegated and a regular creeping thyme, and they go right over the edge of the pot. Also go great with chicken when you're making chicken. Here's another trailing herb, oregano. Probably put those two in between the two thymes, something like that. Trailers for the edge and upright plants for the middle. Here's some jagged lavender, it's called. Lots of different lavenders. But they've got that blue-green kind of leaf, which is and that frilly texture on the leaf. Plus this one's in bloom right now, so that's nice to have. A little bloom spike. Here's a sage with blue-green in it as well, which kind of echoes the lavender color. Or you could use a rosemary. Right now we have some great big 1-gallon rosemaries, which would be great for the middle. Tall plant in the middle, or if you're going to have it against a wall, tall plant in the back with the trailing plants around the front. It's pretty simple and straightforward. The one plant you do not want to mix with others in an herb garden is mint. Mint wins at all costs. It kills everything else and is the most prolific grower. So if you do mint in a container garden, it gets its own container. Don't mix it with anything else. Okay, let's pot this one up. Okay, first and most important is the potting soil. This is our own Westwood mix, which is the exact same potting soil that we grow in. There are some pretty bad potting soils out there, so be careful. You want one that's light and fluffy, lots of airspace, and not that dark black color. Potting soil on the bottom. Trailing plants on the edge, you just squeeze them on two sides, pull the pot off. Herbs have a very fibrous root system. You do not need to try to split that. You just plant it just like it is, and it'll grow out from there. Just make a little hole in the soil. Plant it no deeper than the soil level that it was at in the pot. In fact, it's better to be a little bit high. Again, squeeze, squeeze, pull. Fibrous root system, leave it alone. Got to situate it so that it trails over the edge. Fill in around. The other thyme over here. Squeeze, squeeze, pull. The other thyme over here. Left of oregano. Kind of trailing over the edge. We were going to do the lavender. This is a jagged lavender. Squeeze, squeeze, pull. Lavender up in the middle. Oh no! I'm going to tilt those just a little bit to front to get it to all look right together. And then a sage, and this one's pretty root bound. Sometimes the roots come out the bottoms of the holes. You just take that off so that it can come out. Squeeze, squeeze. Pull. Look at that root system. Again, you don't try to rip that up. Just leave it like it is. That's just how herbs grow. That's why they win every time they go up against any other plant. There's a finished product from the top. From the side. Because those are so tight, what you would do is enjoy it just like this. Take it home, water it, and enjoy it for 2 to 3 months and let it grow. You can start eating chicken thyme tonight. But then eventually they'll start to get too crowded. after a couple months. At that point, you can just pop it out of there again and then just start to tear out the different herbs and move them into their own containers or into a different mixed pot that's not so crowded, or into an herb bed in your landscape. And that way they can have their own space later. But that way you can enjoy them now and then use them again later. Several of these are hardy. The thyme is hardy. The oregano is maybe hardy depending on how cold the winter is. Same is true of the lavenders, and the sage usually makes it through the winter. But this would be for mostly full sun, although it can take a little bit of shade, maybe 3 or 4 hours of shade. Water every day while they're getting established, and then once it's rooted in pretty well, you'd water them every second or third day. And then you just enjoy it. So that is a Westwood grown container garden, made by you, of course.